Hello and welcome to the Food Epiphany. I'm Bree and today we're making these delicious black bean veggie burgers. Let's get started. First, I'm going to prep the red bell peppers so they can be roasted. You want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees. I'm cutting up the bell peppers into fairly large chunks. I don't want them to be too small, so this way I can peel off the skins very easily once they're out of the oven. Once they're cut up, I'll put them into a roasting pan or a cookie sheet works too. I'm gonna go ahead and just drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil, just enough to coat them. I'm gonna put them in the oven for about 20 minutes or until they're nice and charred. While those are going, time to start cutting up some of the other vegetables. Starting with the zucchini, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the ends and get those going so I can start grating those. So the bell peppers look good, they're nice and charred. You can get them a little bit darker if you like, but I took them out of the oven at this point and moved on to the next step, which was placing them in a bowl. And you're gonna wanna wrap that bowl with some plastic wrap, and we're gonna let that rest for about 15 minutes. So let's get back to our prep. We're gonna cut up an onion. This is a fairly small onion, so if you have a large white onion, you can go ahead and just use about half of it, and that should cover it for the recipe. Another thing that I didn't show in the video was the washing and the cutting of the parsley. So make sure you go ahead and you cut up a parsley. You're gonna use about half a cup of parsley for this recipe. With everything prepped, let's go and start mashing the beans. I'm gonna go ahead and place my beans in a bowl, grab a potato masher, and get to work. The consistency of the beans is not too smooth. There's still a little bit of texture there. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the carrots and mix that in. Next, after adding the carrots, I'm going to add a full cup of zucchini. Please note the measurements for the recipe is in the description box, so the full measurements for each ingredient is there. After that, I'm going to go in with the parsley. Also, please note that this recipe does make 16 patties. It is a bulk recipe. I do like to freeze the extra ones and eat them during the week for a quick lunch. So please feel free to cut this recipe in half if you desire. All right, time to go in with some seasonings, starting out with the smoked paprika and then the cumin and finally chopped garlic. I didn't do this on camera, but I did add salt and pepper to taste and then tasted the mixture. I do recommend doing this to make sure that it is to your liking. All right, time to get back to the bell peppers. I'm gonna start taking the skin off the bell peppers and it should come right off, no problems. All right, let's blend up some eggs, the bell peppers, and onions. I decided not to use all the onions I cut up in the recipe. I only ended up using about half a cup. If you don't have a blender or food processor handy, that's fine. Just go ahead and dice up the bell peppers and onions really fine and stir that into the bean mixture. All right, getting down to the final part here of making the mix, which is adding the breadcrumbs. This took quite a bit of breadcrumbs to make sure it wasn't too wet. This is probably because of the bell pepper, onion, and egg mix that was blended up and that was mixed in. If you ended up not making that egg mixture and you just kind of chopped up the bell peppers and the onions, you probably don't need as many breadcrumbs. So just kind of play around with the recipe and see how much breadcrumbs you actually need. You'll know if you have enough breadcrumbs when you can form a patty and it doesn't stick to your hands too much. Some of the mixture will stick, but it shouldn't feel too wet. So I have two different cooking methods for these burgers. The first method is to put them in the oven at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes. And the second method is to fry them on the stove in a little bit of cooking oil. So let's start with the first method. I'm forming some patties and placing them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. I'm going to put them in the oven at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes. While those are cooking, let's fry a batch. First, I'm putting enough olive oil to coat the bottom of a nice sized skillet. After letting the olive oil heat up for a moment, I start to add the patties. So the patties are going to fry on both sides for about 3 to 4 minutes or so, or at least till they're nice and golden brown. Once they are flipped and cooked on the other side, you can take them out and drain them on a paper towel lined plate. Once these are done, serve them up on some buns with avocados, onions, tomatoes, whatever your favorite toppings are, and enjoy them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to share and subscribe and definitely give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.